Christmas is here, and with it comes all your favorite traditions. Decorating the tree, making Christmas cookies, and rat battling an undead horse to prevent him from entering your home to drink all your beer. Honestly, is that really any weirder than hoping a fat man deems you are worthy enough to sneak in your house via the chimney while you're sleeping to give you a PlayStation? You're watching History Hound, creepy Christmas traditions from around the world. It's Christmas time, and we here at the Hound were thinking about Christmas traditions and how we celebrate here in the U.S., and how other cultures must look at some of the things we do and think it's weird. I imagine kids in Venezuela taking a break from rollerblading to Christmas Mass, yeah, that's the thing, to talk about how in the U.S. they don't rollerblade on Christmas at all, but instead spend all day arguing if Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It is. Anyway, I wanted to explore some of the traditions and folklore from around the world that I think are pretty weird or creepy. And if you know anything about creepy Christmas traditions, you know that we're going to be spending a fair amount of time in Europe. Starting with this one. You guys know Krampus, right? It's hard to do a video about creepy Christmas folklore and leave this guy out. For those of you who don't know, the Krampus is a giant horned demon that accompanies St. Nicholas on his journey to reward well-behaved Austrian children with sweets and knickknacks. His job is to beat the living tar out of any misbehaving children with a birch rod. Anyway, in Tyrol, Austria, they have a Krampus Parade, known to locals as Krampuslauf. Each year, the streets are lined with Krampus. Krampuses, Krampusi. I honestly don't know the plural of Krampus. They are led through the streets by Saint Nicholas himself, accompanied by some of his angelic helpers. The angelic helpers pass out candy to the children watching the parade, who are also being assaulted, playfully, by various Krampuses. This demonic possession is nothing compared to what happens later in the evening. In East Tyrol, the night ends with what is called, this word. I'm not going to try to pronounce it as I don't want to anger the Krampus. Basically, a group of 6 to 8 men are seated around a large wooden table and are then assaulted, not playfully, by a large group of Krampus or Birchta, another Germanic Christmas monster who has been lumped into the Krampuslauf tradition, who try to topple the table using force, a great deal of force. There are some videos of this on YouTube, and I'll put the link in the description. The closest thing we have to this in the US is Black Friday doorbusters. Seriously, when you're done here, go check out one of those videos. It's a crazy scene, to be sure. Do you know what I've never seen in person? Door-to-door carolers. No one ever really goes wassailing in the US, continuing to sing at unsuspecting neighbors until their obnoxious demands of figgy pudding have been met. Only in Hallmark movies do things like this happen in America. But do you know where they still do something like that but way cooler? Wales. Yeah, the Welsh have this very cool form of door-to-door Christmas caroling that is focused on the character of the Merry Lute. The Merry Lute is a decorated horse skull on a stick, being held by someone covered in a white sheet. The undead horse is led through the town, this is largely a small-town tradition, by a well-dressed man who acts as the leader of the group in a small group of other characters, sometimes Punch and Judy. The undead horse and company goes door to door singing songs to the people on the other side of the door, begging to be let in so they can partake in food and beer. The person on the other side is then required to sing back, trying to convince the party that they are unwelcome. The Merry Lute then gets to sing a retort, and they will go back and forth until one side relents with either the Merry Lute moving on to the next house, or the group gains entrance to the home, where they will engage in antics including eating their food, drinking their beer, and general goofing about. While it is customary to try and repel the Merry Lute, it's actually considered good luck to be visited by the horse. Many believe that when the Welsh immigrated to the U.S., they brought a version of this tradition with them, which morphed over time to become what we call trick-or-treating. It's a Christmas tradition that you might do and don't even know it. It begins with a story. Once upon a time in Ukraine, there was a poor young widow who wanted to decorate her home for Christmas for her children, but was unable to afford it. One night, an acorn fell through a hole in the roof of their home and sprouted into a beautiful evergreen tree. Her children were happy to have this Christmas tree in their home, but were sad that they couldn't afford to decorate it. One Christmas Eve, a spider who had taken up residence in a dark corner of the home had witnessed the sad tale and wanted to help out. So she climbed about the tree, leaving strands of silk webbing behind. But upon observation, saw that the mother might not be as appreciative of this form decoration. It was at this moment that a Christmas miracle occurred. The strands of webbing had transformed into strands of shiny silver and gold. From that moment forward, the luck of the widow had reversed as she found work that paid her handsomely. They rebuilt the shack into a beautiful home with the tree as its centerpiece, and lived a prosperous life. To this day, spider decorations adorn most Christmas trees in the Ukraine. But this also gave birth to a worldwide tradition that you might partake in yourself. The decorating of your Christmas tree with silver and gold tinsel. Speaking of trees, there are goblins who live for one purpose, to bring about the end of the world by destroying the world tree, a massive tree that is said to hold up the heavens over the world. Every year on Christmas, just as they are about to finish a job, they drop what they are doing and terrorize the mortals for 12 days before returning to try and destroy the world on January 6th, only to find the tree has been healed and they have to start from scratch. Are you worried that you might be attacked by one of these Holocantors? There's a few things that you can do to prevent them from entering your home. The first is to burn all your old shoes, in hopes that the stench will keep them away. The second is to throw pastries and sausages on your roof as a sort of offering to keep them away. The final method is to leave a colander on your doorstep. They will stop to try to count the holes and ultimately fail as they are unable to count past the number 2, as they believe 3 to be a holy number, and even thinking it would cause them to die. There's also an outside chance that if you were born during these 12 days of Christmas, that you might turn into a Holocantorozoid when you reach adulthood. So if you were born between these days of Christmas on January 6th, I sincerely hope your parents took preventative measures. That is, binding you in garlic and burning off your toenails. I just noticed their 12 days of Christmas has a lot less birds than ours does. I'll take 3 French hens over burned toenails all day long. Do you know who else has a messed up 12 days of Christmas? Iceland. Their 12 days of Christmas involves being terrorized by the 13 Yule lads. The Yule lads are the children of Gryla, a giant witch who devours misbehaving children, and her husband, the Polly, who lets her. Yeah, his thing is that he's just lazy and hangs out in a cave. They have 13 children. Well, more than that actually. Maybe they is a wrong term, as Gryla has many, many sugar daddies. But the mainstream folklore focuses on the 13 Yule lads who come out to do their specific weird thing starting on December 12th and ending on January 6th. It starts off on December 12th with Sheepcoat Claude, who harasses sheep until December 25th. He's followed by Gollygog, who steals milk from the 13th to the 26th, and so on and so forth, until we get to Candle Stealer, who steals candles from children from December 24th to January 6th. They also have a giant pet cat, who has a very particular diet. He will only devour children who have not yet received new clothes for Christmas. So when you open up that weird sweater from Grandma, that you'll only ever wear when she's around because you don't really like it, because you want to appear grateful, thank her. Thank her wholeheartedly because she just saved you from being eaten by the giant Yule Cat. So do you have any weird Christmas traditions? I want to hear about them in the comments. And if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe and like this video and ring the bell to receive notifications about when new content arrives. We've got lots of ideas for next year, but honestly, what do you want to see? Let me know and maybe we'll make a video about it. Anyway, you've been watching History Hound. I'll see you in history.